Good morning everyone. We're back in the garage today working on the Alfa 33. I've decided today it's probably time we start putting things back together. There's been a lot of tearing down, a little bit more tearing down, and I've run out of garage space. I have things in my rafters, I have things on my desk, I have things in the car, and this big space here is not usually a space. Usually there's an MX-5 here. So today it's time to start putting some stuff back together, tidying up some of the suspension components and getting that all ready to go back onto the car. So I think it's about time we just get right into it, eh? Well, that was an attempt at sandblasting. Not very successful. I think I'm going to go back to the cabinet for the small stuff, and then for the larger stuff, I'll figure out a different way of doing it. May just come down to the old-fashioned way of getting some sandpaper and using elbow grease. But yeah, I mean, you can probably see a little bit in the time lapse. I don't know how well, but that was shocking. One down, many more to go. Alright, now you're not going to believe me? The sandblasting cabinet is playing up as well. It is sandblasting for a couple seconds and then stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping. Flow is just not happening. I've taken everything apart, I've put it all back together, it worked for 10 minutes, it stopped again. I got no clue what's going on, man. So when in doubt, pull more stuff apart, I've decided. I know I said that I was going to finally start getting stuff ready to put back together because the car needs to go back together, but there's still stuff that I can pull apart now, so it's not working putting stuff back together, so why not pull some more stuff apart? I will make space in the garage. As much as I hate to do it, we're jumping into wiring. I despise wiring, I've made that very clear, but this is where we're at. Everything else is so frustrating that we're going to start looking at wiring. I can't believe I'm doing this. Why the f am I doing? Why? Right, so some of you may remember first or second episode of this build. I tested the windows along with a few of the other interior electronics to see what worked. At the time I said that lights and the light switches on the dashes work. Those do, still do, obviously I haven't unplugged them yet. But I see the windows didn't. What I've since found, windows do work. I don't know if you can see that, but it is going down. Well, it's a fan of going down. And it does go up, just not so much of a fan. Also, all of the lights down here in the Alfa Romeo control center do work. I've got a, unsure what this one is, it's a steering wheel, temperature, washer fluid, and just a random red start light. I'm sure the Italians know what that means. I don't. But into this we go. We're going to take out the dash, everything, find all the wiring that leads to everything, and then from there, once we find the ECU, we're going to start tracing wires into the engine bay. Well, unfortunately I wasn't keeping track of time, but there's my dashboard, and here's my dash. I may not have got it on camera though, because I'm a bit silly. Alright, so camera's gone inside and been on charge for a little bit. In the meantime, what I have done is behind me I've taken out the driver's seat, I've taken out the door surroundings here, which is why these guys are so blinking sharp, and then I've got everything out related to holding down the carpet, which means the carpet's coming out. It's just going to make it easier to access a lot of things, particularly obviously there's a small amount of wiring that goes down to the back, but that's all intact, so I'm not really too fussed on tagging that at the moment because I know where it goes because it's still all connected. But what it will do is it'll make the wiring that does go down through into the engine bay a lot easier to trace, and obviously our ECU is tucked away somewhere underneath there. All in all, you know, the progress that I did want to make was suspension related, but the progress that I have made in turn is, you know, not so bad. I'm pretty happy. Let's pull this carpet out, hey? Now that is one very naked looking interior. Alright, so that is going to be it for today's episode. Not the progress we wanted to get done. We didn't get into the suspension as planned. However, we do currently have the carpet for the entire car sitting in front of me. MISC interior pieces now in the corner. We're growing our wee pile over here. But that's good, and our dashboard as well is out. All of the interior electronics that I've managed to unplug today have all been tagged, so I know where they go, what they're for, etc. Next up for the wiring, we'll be figuring out everything on the engine side. I think it'll be a little bit easier when the engine's in the car and everything's back together, so that luckily can be pushed down the line a bit. But the loom itself will have to come out obviously to paint engine bay and that kind of stuff. So overall, not what we really had planned, but not a lack of progress. I'm still happy with what we've done today and what we've got, you know, what we've got under our belts for the day. So that's about all I have to say. Actually, sorry. The piston is still in the engine block, however. That one's been soaking for a week now in the ATF acetone mix from the beginning of the last episode. If anyone has any other home remedies for getting a piston out of an engine block, this one is thoroughly seized. And it seems the ATF acetone mix hasn't even managed to penetrate down past the piston rings because there is no movement whatsoever. I'm pretty stumped on it, honestly. I've tried everything, every solution everyone's had, and nothing's freed it yet, so it's quite significantly in there. But if you have any suggestions for that, please drop them down in the comments. Other than that, thank you guys for watching so much, and tune in for the next one next week.